All right, welcome back to the Average Workshop, everybody. Here's the project that we're going to have for you today. I have a special project coming up where I need to make some Cannister Damascus. The problem is I've never made Cannister Damascus. So what we're going to try to do today is we're going to tackle making some dies for our forging press. The canister, some squaring dies, and then we're going to attempt to make our first canister ever. So let's get to work and try not to fail. I do want to do something special with this billet. I don't have plans for it at the moment, so at the end of the video I'll explain what we're going to do, so be sure to stay tuned. Alright guys, so we have our can started, and like I said, I've never done this before, so I have no idea what I'm doing, but one thing I want to try, and I don't know if it'll work, is this is a piece of just 1084, which is good knife making metal, but I want to try to align it so that it sits in the middle, because a lot of the materials I'm putting in here are not good knife making material. And so hopefully if I get this lined up right, once the billet's squished, and if we make a knife out of it, it'll have good knife making material on the edge that'll make an actual usable knife. So we'll go ahead and fill this up and go from there. Alright guys, we got our billet smushed a little bit, and as you can see, it does not look great.
Certified fail.
So I went ahead and ground one side, the other side, just to see if maybe there was any recoverable steel. I don't think there is, and I think part of the problem is I use stainless steel bearings and stuff just to see if I could. And anytime I've welded stainless or forge welded stainless, it's been about a 50-50 whether or not it takes. And you can see here, that's what's happening here. I think those are, these holes right here are just actually like bearings and stuff fell out, which is kind of disappointing because I ground this side down a little bit just to see what was happening. You can see like right here, I watched the bearing fall out. But if you can get a closer look at the pattern, I was kind of digging it. So you got the smashed bearings, and then you see these right here. You can't see very well probably, but I put in some like stainless steel set screws, and it actually looks pretty cool. But it's a failure, and you live and you learn. We're gonna have to try again. Made our first attempt at some Cannister Damascus, which was just in preparation for another project, but we failed miserably. And so what we're going to do to try another attempt with hopefully some easier materials to forge weld. So what I have here are these big bearings. And so this should be 52-100 steel. We're gonna chop these up into tiny pieces, clean them up, throw them into a canister, see if we can forge weld that into a usable billet. So we got our pieces cleaned up at the grinder. We're gonna have to clean them off with some acetone, fill up our can, try to forge weld it, and see what happens. As you see during the video, we definitely had some issues. Not sure where the tip of my can went. I believe it's somewhere inside my forge. In the middle there, you know. So I think my forge is done. I need to reline it again. But You can see towards the front of the billet we definitely had some issues, but the back half of the billet looked pretty good. I was pretty happy with it, so hopefully we'll grind off the scale, see if it looks like we got any usable metal in there, and then take a gander at what the pattern might look like. Alright guys, so we have our billet on one side ground down and etched just to get an idea of what our pattern's gonna look like. And I had a feeling from the beginning that the pieces of material I was using were too big, and that's how our pattern ended up. So here's what we have right here. You can see it's just kind of big, gonna be big and splotchy. Nothing special or whatever. So it looks like we might have some cracks and stuff in here. Like I said, that front of the billet, but back here looks pretty solid. So what I want to do is, I think I have about 8 inches of usable billet by about, let's call it 2 inches. But I'm right at about 3/8 of an inch thick right here. What I would like you guys to do for me is go ahead and leave a comment down below of what you'd like me to see me do with this billet. An idea of something you want me to make, a knife, whatever it is. Leave it down below, and I think what we're gonna do is select one of those comments. In a later video, we're gonna attempt to make whatever comment was suggested, and then we're probably gonna give whatever we make away. So like I said, leave that comment down below, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We'll see you next time.